Hey everybody, it's me, Jane. I'm back from DC where I was hanging out with my wonderful daughter, Ray, and her fabulous little baby boy and her wonderful husband. So I'm here in Bend and I just want to ask you the question that is asked of me in my practice every single day. It's the question about frequency in your intimate life. So how often is often enough for you to have sex, be intimate? And really, the other question is, like, what does that mean in your relationship? But your sex life. So what is sex to you and how often is often enough for you? People ask me this constantly. In fact, it was the first question ever asked of me when I started identifying myself as a sex expert, even way back before I got any training about this topic, this fabulous topic that I love so much and that I live for, right? I live to hear about your sex stories, which is maybe weird, I don't know. Yeah, so how often is often enough? I shared recently on social media and in my blog and email communication with my list that 50% of US citizens or people who responded to a survey about their sex life have sex one or fewer times a month. So half the people are having sex one or fewer times a month. That puts you in perspective. If you're having sex once a month, you're, like at the 50% kind of common number with other people in the United States, at least. So what is the number, the kind of good enough number? What is the better than good enough? What is great? And what is too much for you? So I've had conversations recently where one partner will say, when I ask that person, how often is often enough? They're like twice a day. And yet they haven't had sex for a year or maybe a couple times last year. So that's a big disconnect. If you're wanting sex twice a day and you're having it annually, there's obviously something going on between you and your partner about frequency. The key to this question, the how often is often enough question, is between the two of you. Only you and your partner can determine that. So your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to have the conversation with your partner. First of all, starting with the intention, setting the intention together that, we're going to talk about our sex life so that we can be closer, that having this conversation is going to make us feel better, more aligned, more alive together, more comfortable, more in love. That we're going to talk about this for that reason, not because I'm trying to bother you or make you feel bad or somehow create World War III about it. We're going to have a conversation about what do we want? What's our intention here? Is once a week feel good? Does twice a week feel good? Does once a month feel good? How about once a quarter? What about if we stopped having sex? What would it be like if we had sex every day or twice a day? How is it for you? In your sex life. So what is your desired frequency? When you know that, and the two of you have actually had that conversation and talked about it, it's a totally different thing, right? Because you then go to your week and you say okay, so what's going on this week? Gosh, Jim and I have been super busy lately, it's crazy. What's going on this week? What does it look like in terms of our availability for being together? Because if you're going to have sex, and it's going to be satisfying for each of you, it's not going to be quickie after quickie. A quickie is okay. I'm not quickie averse or against it, or I'm not stridently anti-quickie. But when you have only 5 to 7 minutes, which is the average amount of time a US couple takes for sex, a heterosexual couple takes for sex, that's not enough for most people, women and or men, non-binary people, to have a real grounded sexual experience. It might be good enough to get off, to have an orgasm, particularly for the guy, if you're having sex with a guy, but it's not enough to really fill up your sexual cup, your intimacy, your sense of really being accepted and loved. So if you only have 5 to 7 minutes, that's probably not going to work for you in the long run. So when do you have time this week to really drop in? When do you have privacy? When are you not exhausted? When have you had the conversations that need to be had? When have you done the laundry? When have you planned the meals? When have you cooked? When have you dealt with all the stuff from work and all the re-entry that's happening after the pandemic? When have you done all that? And when can you then like relax enough in your body, in your nervous system to re-regulate your nervous system so that you can actually have something that feels true for you instead of feeling like you are just giving it up if you're somebody who's not as oriented towards sex. So number one, ask for a conversation with your partner about the frequency. Preface that by saying that you want to be closer. Figure out where you both are in terms of frequency, like maybe you want it annually, I don't know, weekly, monthly, whatever it is, twice a week. Your partner wants it less or more often than that. And then figure out how to create together some kind of schedule. Now, I don't mean like Tuesday, you take out the recycling and then you have sex, whatever. I don't mean that. I mean like looking at your week and creating some spaciousness for opening yourself to sex. That makes sense? If you have any questions, thoughts, concerns, get back to me. Big hug. See you next week.